Hello, my name is Ben Fry. This is an assignment from my William Woods EDU 528 Masters of Education course. The assignment was to kind of talk about our fiscal plan and kind of give my reasonings why I believe that the fiscal plan that we currently have at our school, and after doing some research, backing that plan up, making sure that I have all the information needed to hopefully one day step into an activities role and put together a budget plan and everything for our athletic and activities department that is beneficial to our district. So after discussing all of the budget plans with the superintendent and our business manager here at New London, where I currently work, I also talked to a couple of the surrounding districts as well. I found that we all use a similar style of a combination style budget. The combination model is one of the most common models that provides support for an athletic or activity. It collects tax revenues and ticket sales to help support each individual activity in the district. It also allows for the use of booster clubs and other groups in aiding or to aid in raising funds for equipment, uniforms, conditioning and training items that may enhance the program. Not only does it aim to help athletics, but it can also help activities like theater, band, vocal, music, speech, mock trial, and other programs. And while some booster clubs have the ability to make major contributions to the school district for updating facilities, other booster clubs are able to help with smaller expenses, and the school may need assistance with those small expenses as well. New London Community School District, that's where I work. I put down the mission that we have here. The mission of New London Community School District, through the combined resources of school, home, and community, is to guide, challenge, and motivate lifelong learning in an environment that fosters individual success, mutual respect, pride, and personal accountability. Now, the reason that the community aspect is in our mission, and why I felt the need to include this, is simply because this budget allows for community involvement and the assistance that they can provide you. The combination budget has several different revenue streams. It allows for tax revenues, ticket sources, advertising and sponsorship, booster clubs, fundraising, and donations. And New London allows each of their activities to participate and receive funding from all of these revenue streams with our general athletics budget and account, as well as our booster club and all those types of involvement. So the involvement of each activity is completely based on the willingness of the program's head coach to include themselves and request additional aid when needed. So all the requests begin with the activities director, and after approval are processed. If the AD feels that the request is too much for the district to accommodate, or the account doesn't have the full monetary allotment allowed or needed to purchase that, they can ask to have the head coach talk to the booster club. The booster club helps with any additional payments or needs that the programs might have. And after the coach reaches out to the boosters, a conversation takes place between the booster club president and the AD to settle on a percentage of aid if needed. If the school or the account can fund 80% and they need the booster club to pay for 20%, that conversation then takes place, so that way the booster club is not just funding the whole thing when there is some money that can be used. So the booster club, the main booster club here at the school, is the Black and Gold Backers, and their mission statement is to provide our high school, middle school, and in some cases elementary athletic teams what the school budgets are no longer fiscally able to provide. Now, that is their mission. They will help with other things, even if the school can provide them. They help with a lot of stuff here around the school. So athletics is not the only area that can be funded by the Black and Gold backers. Black and Gold has also helped support the New London Little League, Music Boosters, Post Prom, Dollars for Scholars, and many other entities here at the school. And they're a support group. They have meetings every other month, and all of their officers are and a designated representative are voices at these meetings. Those representatives include somebody from football, volleyball, girls and boys basketball, cheerleading, girls and boys track, girls and boys golf, baseball, and softball. The only sport that's not listed in there is wrestling, and that's because they have their own separate booster account. They have the wrestling boosters. And then our fine arts programs have their own booster account, which is actually just getting set up now. It used to just be the music boosters, and they have decided to incorporate performing arts into one big booster account. So that will help them with getting funds for theater and speech and all those extracurricular activities that kind of fall in the cracks sometimes. Between meetings, if necessary, 2 officers in agreement are allowed to approve a purchase request of $250 or less. This helps out a ton, especially because they only meet every other month. If a coach comes and it's kind of an emergency that they need something, and they can't fully fund the item that they need, they can go to the booster club and they can have a little conversation. And if the cost is $250 or less, 2 officers can make the call on whether or not they can allow that purchase to be made. So that's kind of a good thing that our Black and Gold group does for us. Some of the things that they do for us, as you can see, there's a few banners here on the screen. That's just one of the things that they helped fund. Over the past year, we updated signs and banners. They help with uniform expenses, weight room equipment, folding chairs and tables, sound equipment, senior posters, coaches' requests, and then fine arts trips. So they're able to provide assistance in numerous ways. A few years ago, our school started allowing coaches to set up senior photo shoots for senior athletes, and then they get a banner made, and those banners are displayed out of the football field, in the gym, kind of anywhere that they participate and they compete. We are in a low-income district and have roughly 40% of our student body on some sort of free or reduced lunch. So asking these students to buy these banners can sometimes be problematic. So the Booster Club stepped up a few years ago and said that they would purchase basically any banner for a kid in need. So if they physically could not or personally could not afford to pay for their banner, the Booster Club would help them out upon request. So that's a really awesome thing that the Booster Club has helped us out with. Advertisements and sponsorship. This is one of the big things that we do here. Our school district has recently put up TVs kind of all over our facilities. We have, I think, 5 different TVs down in our gym lobby, 2 of which are for advertising. One's for athletic records, one's for class composites for like historical record, like senior, I guess the graduation page, and then another one is for the concession stand. So all of our sponsorship packages are right here, and it allows our local businesses to spend a little bit of money to get their business name out there and also show that they are supporting our New London activities. So, I mean, as you can see here, just if they wanted to buy a simple ad on our lobby televisions, it's $250. But if they paid $400, they're also getting an ad in our yearbook. We have a Tiger TV program where our students actually do a news segment once a week, and then share it with our students, and then it gets posted so that way the community can also watch it. And then they also get their logo on our activity programs. So it's pretty reasonable. Being in a small town Iowa, you can't set prices too high because then people can't afford it. And if you set it too low, you're just going to be shooting yourself in the foot. So we found a really good packaging system and raised about $12,000 in one day with our students out selling these advertisements. So all of that money goes right into our general athletics and activities fund. So that's really great. Something that our school does, I'm not sure if this is what every school does. I know that equipment costs are usually covered by the school due to liability reasons, but if it's required to play the game or the activity, our school or our general athletic activity fund funds that. So like baseball bats, balls, that kind of stuff. Our school, they're required to play the game. We just go ahead and buy those. They don't have to come out of an individual budget. And one thing I found interesting, Huddle, which is a video exchange tool used by football programs. In the state of Iowa, it is required by football teams to have a Huddle account to exchange their film. So the school, the general fund, pays for that. The general athletic fund pays for that Huddle account. Now, if our basketball coach wanted to purchase that or have his own account that he can use recruiting, scouting, that kind of thing, it's not required by the state for basketball to have a Huddle account. So the general athletic fund will not fund his account. So he has to pay for that out of his own account. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky at times. But if the state requires it to be used or this item for your season, the school just goes ahead and takes care of it because it's required to play the game. So that's kind of an interesting little factoid there about just how our general athletic fund works. But these sponsorships up here all funnel into that account, which help pay for things like that. Another thing that we have that just started this year is the Tiger Pump fundraiser. The Tiger Pump is a gas pump at our gas station, which is like a block away from the school. Small town Iowa, we got 2 gas stations. One's out on the edge of town and one's right smack dab in the middle. This one is a block away from the school. A ton of our students go there during open campus for lunch. They got a little grill, that kind of thing. So the Tiger Pump is a fundraising venture that we just entered into at the gas station this year. And all of the money that is made by pumping gas at the Tiger Pump, a small percentage of it is donated back to the high school, which then goes into a quarterly installment. So they give us 4 checks a year, and the first check was brought, I believe, in August and totaled $1,072.25, which went into the general athletic fund. Now, the next 3 installments have specific areas that they're going. I believe one of the next 3 will go into band, one will go into vocal music, and one, I believe, goes into theater. And this was all set up before we had the Performing Arts Booster Club. But those 3 other installments are going to help an activity specifically. The rest of them, football and other sports that we have here have an easier time fundraising than some of the other activities, just due to participation and involvement in the community interest and that kind of thing. So the Tiger Pump is a new thing that we just started, and it's really cool. But this would not be possible without the combination budget allowing for outside entities to get involved and fundraise. Our Black and Gold fundraisers, this goes back to our booster club. So our Black and Gold does a golf tournament annually, which I believe just about every booster club in the United States probably does. It's a really easy one to get some money and gain some interest, that kind of thing. Our indoor concession stand for basketball, wrestling, basically anything that's indoors during the winter, our booster club handles the concession stand. So they allow each activity to basically sign up and work. Now, that could be post-prom, it could be football, it could be wrestling, whatever. So they can sign up to work a date in the concession stand. So at the end of the year, the concession stand is made X amount of dollars. However many dates you work, they divide X amount of dollars by the total amount of dates, and then you get a chunk of it every time you work. So everybody gets an equal chunk if you've worked 1 date, but if you work 2 dates, you get double that 1 chunk. So for example, in 2018, the concession stand made $9,986.82, and that was divided between 51 events. Now that totaled out to $195.82. So if I worked one event, I got $195.82 added into my activity account. Now if I worked two, I got two portions of $195.82. It's a really simple way to get some money back into your program, but there's a small percentage that the Black and Gold keeps, and there's a percentage that gets kicked back directly to the programs that are helping run the concession stand and helping them work. So really cool, easy fundraiser that our booster club puts together. Uniform purchases done on a 4-year rotation. The school pays for 50% and the booster club pays for 50% up to $4,000. If my total uniforms are going to cost $5,000, my activity has to come up with the additional $1,000. So that's just the way our uniform rotation goes. It's pretty standard. You know, the school will pay a set amount, booster club will help with a set amount, and then you got to fund anything over that. So if your uniforms, you know, cost a bit more because you got more kids, you have to fundraise to get that kind of, you got to fundraise to get that money made, but we don't really have any issues because football is not on our uniform rotation. Each kid purchases their own jersey because they get it personalized with their name on the back, that kind of thing. So each kid pays about, I believe it's around $140 for their uniform. So the only part of the uniform rotation that the football team is on, actually they're not on it at all. I think they used to be on it for pants, but they took themselves off, and so now the football team just fundraises and then they spend some of their money that they fundraise on pants. So some of the other fundraisers that our school does, our football team does their big one, which is a player auction. They auction off all their players for 2 hours of physical labor, and usually bring in somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000. Apparel sales. So our school has kind of a deal with a local apparel store, and they create their t-shirt designs, all that kind of stuff, and then they mark it up X amount. It's usually $2 to $3, and then anything, however many items that are bought, any of the markup price that was associated with that item gets kicked right back to the coach, so they receive a check for that apparel. So that goes right into their account. Some of our programs do like a fruit or cheesecake sale, calendar sales, bake sales, a trivia night, car wash, that kind of stuff. The athletic department does a 50-50 raffle during basketball season, and that's kind of as is. They can do it once every game if they want to, but we usually kind of alternate between 50-50 raffles and the Chuck-a-Duck. The Chuck-a-Duck's really simple. It's one that the kids really like to do, so on those nights where we're going to have a lot of families, we usually do that kind of thing. So Chuck-a-Duck, each kid, if they pay like $1, gets a rubber duck with a number on the bottom. At halftime, we set a certain point on the floor as the target, and the kids all chuck their ducks out onto the floor. Closest one gets like a 2-liter pop or some sort of prize or something like that. So it's kind of fun, but it's a neat way to get the community involved. And then at the end of it, after doing my research and kind of putting this all together, why do I like the combination budget? Because it allows the community to get involved in aiding all of your programs. It creates a sense of ownership for the coaches and the people involved in their programs. It allows the coaches and sponsors to have maximum ownership over their own personal account. And it minimizes the overall supervision of the accounts by the AD, because all purchases have to go through the AD's office to have anything happen. All purchases are made through the school. The coaches don't have a credit card to their account, anything like that. They have to fill out a purchase request, and it has to go through the AD. So it also allows for the involvement of booster clubs. And as I said, we have 3 separate boosters. We've got the Black and Gold, Performing Arts boosters, and Wrestling boosters. And I think the ability for the coaches and AD to manage all of their individual budgets and the separation of the general athletic budget keeps everyone in check. If the money's not there, they can't purchase what they need. If they go and get help, there might be a stipulation behind it. So there's a lot of factors and reasons why this budget works, and it is becoming more and more popular. But I really do think that our district is doing it correctly, we don't have many issues. All of our activities are able to put money into their accounts and stay above zero pretty easily. So thank you, and I hope this was helpful.